So this morning we're talking about some of our favorite memories from summer break. You get off
Okay.
school, you're a kid,
Mhm.
there's no school for a couple of months. What are some of your favorite memories? What say you?
I would hop on my bike
Mhm.
because that was the thing, like, always on the
Absolutely.
bike. Um, and I would there was a quick stop food mart in the corner on the way home, like, just, like, up the block
Mhm.
a little bit, and so I'd ride my bike there, and every 3 days or so, they would change the 2 flavors they had.
Mhm.
And so it was like, "Oh, yay, blue raspberry, yay, grape,
Mhm.
boo, peach."
Mhm.
Like,
Boo pee.
boo. But there were always 2 flavors, and so every day,
Mhm.
my parents would, like, leave me a little money and I could go get that on my
Nice.
bike.
Nice.
Yeah.
So my mom's parents had a cottage in Wakanda. So my grandparents
Mhm.
had a cottage in Wakanda that they had originally, I believe, bought with friends of theirs and eventually ended up buying out their friends.
Okay.
But so my mom had two brothers and a sister, so there was four of them in the house.
Okay.
The other family had six, I think, combination of boys and girls.
Wow. Okay.
So they would all go up to this cottage in Wakanda, which is like northern Illinois, like not quite the Wisconsin border.
Is it northwest, northeast? Is it by Antioch?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It was north.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect the story. So
I was just trying to because I don't know
yeah,
where it is. I
yeah.
don't but go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
So they had this place that my mom went to as a kid,
Mhm.
you know, and but imagine this is how long it's a cottage, so it's only used in the summertime,
Mhm.
and how old it is. I mean, it was old, it was rickety. I think to this day, I bet if they swept the floor, you're still finding sand on the floor. Like, because everybody
Of
just
course,
came in
because
from the
everybody
beach and it was just everywhere. I
Mhm.
remember, so then when I was a kid, we would go there and less of the family was in it then. So for the most part, it was us and maybe we'd bring a friend with us. And we would go up there and it would be if there was no baseball that weekend, I was in Little League, my sister was in Little League. If there was no baseball, we'd go up Friday after work. It was a 45-minute ride.
Okay.
So we'd all hop in the car and we were there for the weekend and we'd come home on Sunday. If there was baseball on Saturday, soon as the game ended, there were times we drove up there in my uniform. We just left from the park and you'll get changed when you get up there and you'll just hop in the lake. So because there was a lake about 5 doors down from there with a beach,
Mhm.
swings and all that.
Wow.
So that was almost every weekend till I was about 7, I think, when they sold it, 7 or 8. Yeah,
Wow.
but we used to go all the time. That was our summer. Like, it was, and then, of course, during the week, you're home, like you said.
Mhm.
You'd get up, you leave the house somewhere around 8 o'clock. Maybe, I don't remember a time, but I just remember it was early in the morning. Mom was still having coffee, and you were in your shorts, tank top, on your bike. You were off
Mhm.
to what are we doing today? Oh, we're going to Midwest, which was like our little store for Swedish fish and sub sandwiches and candy and all that stuff, penny candy. Um, and then uh, we would we'd always play wiffle ball on our corner, and it was whoever was out was out. It was boys, girls, it didn't matter. It was everybody. Whoever was out was playing, and more kids would. As you'd wake up, we were already out there, and you'd show up, and it was like, okay, oh, Billy's here, you're on their team, or and then the next one that comes on, now you're on our team, and it was just,
And I remember too, everybody shared snacks.
oh
So,
yeah,
like, someone was smart enough to bring a bag of chips, but it's not only for you, it's for everybody. Like,
hmm
you
right,
or grapes or whatever your
hmm
mom packed.
right,
Like, so that's how we ate.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, neighborhoods, and that's why I think, I talk about the idea that my whole adult life I've lived in small towns, but I grew up in Chicago. But I grew up in a neighborhood in Chicago.
Mhm.
So it had that small town feel
Yeah.
because, you know, it was, you never heard, I'm not feeding the neighborhood. Every mom was
Never.
feeding
Yeah.
the neighborhood.
Yeah.
If you were at over at Billy's house and she was pulling out a popsicle, she wasn't pulling out popsicles unless she had a box of the what are the ones where you cut the plastic off the top?
Yeah.
Everybody was getting one,
or push-ups. Do you remember when I love that like meme that says when we were little, we ate our ice cream out of toilet paper rolls.
Yes. Who didn't love push-ups?
Yeah.
I loved push-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then remember how you'd like try to stick your tongue all the way in there to get the last drops.
Right.
Because
when you realize
if you went too far
it
up,
all came out.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
That's
talk
so
about
funny.
memories. Hearing the ice cream truck.
You saw when they came. And for whatever reason, they tried to charge them $1 zillion. So in Bourbonnais, when there was one that would come out and they had all the good stuff, we would lose our minds.
Yeah.
Remember, we'd spend. I had only prayed that we would have cash in the house because
somebody just posted a picture like 2 weeks ago. The one was driving around Rensselaer. Sorry, I would
freak out. I love that, and I buy like $50 worth of ice cream. I just shove all of it into a freezer, like they're never coming back again. Do you remember?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love buying for all the kids,
and
because you see them like counting out. Do I have enough and all that? Kids, get whatever you want.
Right, and there would be like 100 kids, like all of us playing wiffle ball, and the guy would pull up. But he never would. There'd be like, no exaggeration, like 20 kids on our block. Every time he just drives to the next block. He was like, let's see how fast I can make these kids run. Like, there's no kids playing down on that block.
Right. And you'd always pick the fastest one.
Yes.
Go get him and tell him to get his butt over here.
Right. Melanie says, just being a kid, enjoying summer with family and friends, running through the garden hose to cool. Yes. Not necessarily the garden hose for us. It was the sprinkler. Yes. Yeah. Mom, can we run through the sprinkler?
With our clothes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Or the slip and slide, but the old ones. Do you remember slip and slides?
So we used to play. Do you ever play a game called Running Bases?
Running Bases.
So Running Bases was you had one person on this end and one person on the other end, and they threw the ball back and forth, and you had to try and steal the base. Like you had to try to get there before the ball
did.
But so we would do it on the slip and slide because then we could slide in,
Steve, I want to be a kid again. Now I would break bones. Just saying.
Yeah, we probably did back then. Yeah. Catching lightning bugs, says Melanie.
I loved catching lightning bugs. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yes.
Playing kick the can in the street. Okay, so we didn't play kick the can, but we used to call it jailbreak. And it was
because it's Chicago.
Right. It's a lot different than it is now.
Now it's called dodge the bullet.
Right. So we would play jailbreak, and what it was you had two teams, and it was like right about dusk you start to play. And I'm telling you, we had kids from probably age 6 to probably age 14 or 15. I know there was high school age kids. So they were like the captains. And you had two porches in the neighborhood. My parents was usually one that they used because my parents had bushes all around the front of their porch, and there was wrought iron around all of it except the stairs. So that was one of the jails. So when you're tagged, you had to go to jail, and you're in there, and the only way you can get out of jail is one of your teammates has to come and tag you. So you'd like come in and you'd crawl underneath the bushes, and you'd tag their foot, and then you got to get away before the guard can come and tag you, and they'd have to try and get out of the jail and
why
run.
am I remembering this?
It was kind of similar to capture the flag for some places. Yeah. So and then Melanie also says riding our bikes endlessly everywhere.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. When I think about it, oh my gosh, I babysat for a family from the time I was 9 to the time I was 18. I went on vacations with them and everything like that. So summer was a big deal with them. They were up the street from my house, like literally. So it was easy peasy. I mean, just
everywhere. Shane says spending 2 weeks at Lake of the Ozarks. Nice little getaway.
I've never been there, but I would love to rent an RV. praying that nothing goes wrong because I know all the stuff that could go wrong as I worked at an RV company for a while.
Okay.
But I would love to do that and go tour the United States because there's places I haven't been yet, and I wanna see Mount Rushmore. I want to stay in Yellowstone.
Okay.
I want to do some like just nature stuff. So
I would love to do that with a driver. I have no desire to drive one of those big honking campers.
I drove one at one point. It was funny. I drove one at one point because we wanted to go to Cedar Point or some with a babysitter. They wanted to all drive. And it's not that bad. Class C is not that bad. But when you go to the ones that pop out and everything is different and there's a different button for stuff. I mean,
crazy. Pamela says every Wednesday a bus would take us from Remington to Oxford to swim. Wow, that's a little bit of a ride too. That's pretty cool. And Nina says they were longer and I didn't have to be a responsible adult. Yeah, that's of course a memory of summer break. So you just didn't have you didn't have to worry about anything. It was, I mean, as a kid, like the most important thing I had to do was I had to make sure that if I had baseball practice at 3, like okay, or 4 or whatever, like playing with all my friends all day long. And oh, guys, I gotta go. I got baseball practice in 20 minutes. I gotta go.
Right.
Where's my mitt? I gotta get my mitt. And you ride your bike. I would ride my bike to baseball practice. Yeah. Yeah, love that. Richie says summer camp or going to the racetrack?
Yes, summer camp. Oh, I went to camp every year from 3rd grade on.
Sleepover camp or like daily camp?
Sleepover camp for a month.
Okay. So I went to sleepover camp.
Camp Moshava. Gima, I want to go back to Chicago. Gima, I want to go home. They say that up at Mosh, the food is very fine. You eat it up at 7 and throw it up at 9. Oh, I don't want to go to Moshava. Gima, I want to go back to Chicago. Gima, I want to go home. Yep.
Oh,
yeah, I got
that's
lots
funny.
Oh, yeah. And then capture the flag on the campgrounds.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh,
yeah, we did that too.
And color wars.
Yeah,
oh my god.
We didn't do color wars.
Oh.
We did capture the flag.
So good.
We did. Well, I went to Boy Scout camp. 1 year was 2 weeks. 1 year was 1 week. So I did that twice. Then I went to my grammar school head camp. My grammar school camp was way more fun because it was just, there was no merit badges or anything you had to do. It was just fun. It was, jet skiing, regular skiing, basketball, volleyball, baseball. It was just all day fun. Yeah.
Yep. There was, Leech Lake. And that's where I finally met a tick and realized that it's not a ladybug. Just saying.
Yeah.
When it sunk its little head into my skin and I was like, could you kindly get off of me? And then I went to my camp counselor, goes, he won't get off me. Yeah, it's because he's not a ladybug.
Come here, I got a match.
Yep. And then I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Danielle says, we didn't go back to school until after Labor Day, so summers were longer and better. Yeah, that's for sure. I remember that too. I felt like summers were summers always felt like, like the longest time, and then school came and you were like, oh, already?
Right. But do you remember, here's the thing that really knocked me out when I had kids. And I waited till I was 30. Like so it was later on. Nothing happened till after Labor Day. Period. End of discussion. Like there were sales. Do you remember the Labor Day sales and all that? That's when you got all your back to school stuff and your markers and all that stuff. Then it started being earlier and earlier and earlier until it was like, what are you talking about that people are registering on the 10th of August?
Right. Now the kids go back to school on 4th of July. So,
well,
no, not that.
Yeah, not that, but it was like, okay, like summer was over and you blink now.
I know. It's crazy.